Today we're honored to have as our commencement speaker Dr. Seth Marder, Regents Professor and Georgia Power Chair of Energy Efficiency in the School of Chemistry and Biochemistry and the School of Material Science and Engineering. This past spring, Dr. Marder received Georgia Tech's highest honor given to a faculty member, the Class of 1934 Distinguished Professor Award. The award recognizes the outstanding achievement in teaching, research, and service. It was instituted at the 50th anniversary of the graduation of the class of 1934 in observance of its 50th year reunion. Each year, the award is presented to a professor who's made significant long-term contributions that have brought widespread recognition to the individual, to his or her school, and to the institute. Dr. Marder grew up in Brooklyn, New York. After earning a bachelor's degree from MIT and a PhD from the University of Wisconsin and completing postdoctoral studies at Oxford University and Caltech, he worked at Caltech at the Jet Propulsion Lab. He was a professor at the University of Arizona for 5 years before joining the Georgia Tech faculty in 2003. And when he came to Tech, he came as part of a team with 3 other faculty members who had expertise in his and related fields. His research pertains to organic materials, essentially plastic-like materials for photonics and electronics. Organic materials for photonics has applications in areas such as 3D microfabrication and very high-speed data processing and communication. Over the years, Dr. Marder has mentored more than 150 graduate students, postdoctoral fellows, and research scientists as part of his group. Many of those individuals are now leaders in industry and academia around the world. He also mentors other staff members and faculty. In addition to his sterling record of teaching and research, Dr. Marder is known across campus for his tireless service work. He's often called upon to serve on committees and task forces, and because of his reputation, he offers a fresh approach and the ability to cut to the heart of the problem. I'm pleased to call Dr. Marder a colleague. Please welcome him as he presents the commencement address.
President Peterson, Georgia Tech faculty, students, family, and friends, it's an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at today's PhD commencement ceremony. As Bud said, I was invited to speak in my capacity as the Class of 1934 Distinguished Professor. I am humbled and extremely grateful to have received this award as it considers all aspects of a professor's job, not just research or teaching or service. I will note that despite the fact that some of my colleagues insist otherwise, I wasn't actually from the class of 1934. I missed that by at least a few years. So first, let me congratulate each of you as well as your families on this momentous occasion. Now, as each of you has reached this milestone in your academic and professional career, I'd suggest that it could be beneficial for you to take a moment and reflect upon what lessons, beyond the technical details of your dissertation topic, you have learned during your years working towards your PhD, that in 20 to 30 years you will still consider important. In that regard, behind me, you see the Georgia Tech emblem that features 2 themes, progress and service. In working with great focus on experiments, papers, in some cases patents, as well as the thesis itself, it's easy not to fully appreciate other aspects of our experience that enable us to work on both progress and service. Clearly, within the word progress, the concept of service can be implicitly incorporated into the meaning. However, progress transcends scientific and technological advances, but embraces how advances are made and can be implemented in a manner that benefits the greater good. Of course, the word service also has a role that's not necessarily linked to our technological progress, but rather solely to the fact that we are members of society who can contribute thought, time, and effort to improving the state of the world in the broadest sense. We have a chance to help others, and sometimes it's even more satisfying when we do so and no one even knows about it. To quote Indira Gandhi, India's first prime minister, "There are two kinds of people, those who do the work and those who take the credit. Try to be in the first group. There's less competition there." While it may seem early in your professional life to be considering your legacy, I will nonetheless make the suggestion that you do so. And as you do, keeping progress and service in mind is likely going to be beneficial. In addition, I want you to consider the things about which you're passionate and that bring you satisfaction and joy. To be honest, I don't think I truly appreciated the difference between satisfaction and joy until I brought home my yellow Labrador puppy and learned just how good I felt being with him. I was in my late 30s at the time, but it was truly a life-changing moment. I recognized how important it is that our need for passion, satisfaction, and joy is nurtured in order to maintain the balance, the energy, and the focus that will keep us both motivated and fulfilled in the long run. It was a lesson that I wish I had learned quite a bit earlier, but I'm certainly grateful to have learned it. And now I consciously try to incorporate and recognize those things that bring me joy and satisfaction into my daily activities. I came to realize that teaching and service are actually things that I am not only passionate about, but that also bring me great joy. What are these things for you? I can't begin to know, but I can tell you that investing some time to consider it is likely a great investment. As you consider this, I want to share two of my favorite quotes that more than anything capture my worldview in a nutshell. First, only those who dare greatly can ever achieve greatly. This was spoken by Robert F. Kennedy in an address at the University of Cape Town, South Africa, in 1966. A related quote has often been attributed to Robert Kennedy, I gather because he was so fond of it, but it's actually from the British playwright George Bernard Shaw. He said, "You see things, you say why, but I dream things that never were, and I say why not." My version is more like, if it doesn't violate the laws of thermodynamics, it's possible. I've accomplished things others said I would never be able to do simply because, rather than debating whether they could be done, I invested my time and energy in thinking about how I would get them done. This has been extremely empowering, and I encourage you to do the same. In everything that we do, we must evaluate risk and benefit. Often people don't even try to do things because they fear they may not succeed. However, if you want to change the world, you need to dream big, forge ahead, realizing that some things will succeed and others might not. While I have some measure of success in my career, I consider myself insecure and a person plagued with many doubts. However, my biggest fear is looking back with regret that I had the opportunity to do something really important and walked away. Even now, if you look at a person's CV, you'll see that in general, it collects successes such as papers, talks, awards, and the like, and the failures tend not to accumulate unless they're monumental. Failures are only truly failures if we don't take lessons away from them. So, we live in a world where so much needs doing, and we could simply say that it's just too hard, and you can fill in whatever the "it" means for you. Or, I will just go along to get along. But the world needs people, folks like yourselves, who will stand up and shake things up. To again quote George Bernard Shaw, who said in his play Man and Superman, "The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable man persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man." So sometimes we need to buck the system and have the courage to stand up for what we believe and what is right. This is particularly true at a time when even the notion of facts is called into question, and the large disparities that still exist in the quality of life are there based on race, gender, place of birth, and so on. So now it's the time, and you are the people who can make the world better. And the world really needs you. Let me end with a very personal story. I was an MIT undergraduate, and the summer of my freshman year, I started working with an amazing professor. Raphael, you may have known him. His name was Alan Davison. He literally taught me how to do chemistry firsthand in the lab and helped me in ways I could not begin to enumerate. When students had problems with their research or their life, they would go and chat with Alan because he cared, he listened, and he helped. Apart from this, Alan was an amazing chemist who co-invented a technetium compound called cardiolite for imaging the heart and saved many lives, and was for many years and may still be MIT's largest grossing patent. Shortly before I graduate, Alan took me to the Muddy Charles pub on the MIT campus to have a beer and a chat. At that time, I said to Alan that I couldn't begin to thank him for all that he had done for me. And he said to me, and of course I'm paraphrasing with his Welsh accent, he said, "Well, lad, let me tell you my story." He related that during elementary school, he was a troublemaker and was held back multiple times. And when he finally got to the equivalent of high school, the headmaster or principal said to him, "Davison, you'll never make anything of yourself. You should get a job in a factory." And so he did. He met an older worker who had a different opinion of him. He saw something special in Alan, and he advised him that he should go to night school. Alan enrolled, and his co-worker covered for him during the day shift as Alan worked on problem sets. Alan graduated from college, was accepted at Imperial College London, where he did his PhD with the late Sir Geoffrey Wilkinson, who shared the Nobel Prize in Chemistry. And the rest is history. Before Alan left Wales to head off to Imperial, he spoke with the older man. He thanked him and asked him what he could ever do to repay him. The old man said, "Davison, someday you'll have the chance to do for someone else what I did for you." Alan embraced and actually personified that ideal. Alan told me that story in May of 1981, and I'll take it to my grave. I am as moved telling you it today as I was hearing it over 36 years ago. Many have invested in you, and now you have the opportunity to pay it forward in the Georgia Tech tradition of progress and service. This is your opportunity, your time. I wish you all the best. Congratulations to the class of 2018 and to all the Georgia Tech PhD graduates. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Marder. We appreciate all you do for Georgia Tech.